What's up guys, Haroon here from the TGKC clan, and welcome to the second episode of the Gamers Cottage Reviews. As we know, the Wii U features many classic franchises which bring back many childhood memories. For this video, I will be looking at Hyrule Warriors, which revolves around the Zelda and Link world. I'll be giving you a brief review today, letting you know what I think about the game thus far. And at first glance, I just want to say I think the game's a hell of a lot of fun, and I personally couldn't stop playing for hours when I first started. I think it's up to par with Mario Kart 8 as one of the best Wii U releases thus far. But anyways, let's take a closer look at Hyrule Warriors gameplay, mechanics and combat, graphics, and finally, the story and audio. If any of you have played Dynasty Warriors or any of the Warriors series and you enjoy the hack and slash game genre, then the gameplay for this game is definitely for you. The game was very easy to play and get accustomed to, and I honestly didn't need to know any prior information before playing the game, except of course weaknesses of some bosses. Combos are fairly simple and can be done by pressing the same weak attack button over and over again, while switching it up a bit by pressing the different heavy attack. I would have liked to see longer strings of combo just because I personally find enjoyment in being able to master the 15 hit combos and whatever. However, the multiple game modes that are unlocked after you beat the first two stages of the story mode made this game a lot more entertaining than it is. Even though it takes only 10 to 15 hours to complete the whole campaign mode, the adventure mode allows all the game players to spend more time on the game. In adventure mode, you must complete a battle with certain conditions in order to beat the level. Winning allows you to move on in the map and explore different areas while also receiving new weapons, cards, and other items as you complete each area of the adventure. The gameplay for Hyrule Warriors therefore gets a rating of 9 out of 10. The campaign is a lot of fun and quite enjoyable, even though it is repetitive and you do the same thing over and over again. Aside from the campaign, the adventure mode adds a lot of fun and provides you with a different objective than just beating the level and moving on to the story. Although the game is styled after Warriors games, the mechanics seems to be taken from the world of the Legend of Zelda. The maps and characters and items all revolve around the vast world of Zelda. We see playable characters such as Link and Sheik, but the game mechanics for the game are not just locked in by characters. It also includes things like discovering boomerangs and hook shots, which are both elements of the Zelda theme. To top it all off, the game mechanics for every character along with their moves and weapons all vary. The combination of sub-weapons, which are added to each character, such as bombs, arrows, and the hookshot, further add to the game's perfected mechanics, all of which play a role in taking down enemies in the game. The game's combat style evolves around slashing and killing your way through a never-ending cycle of random monsters and enemies, while putting a twist on beating bosses by discovering and abusing their weaknesses. Throughout the game, when you encounter bosses or other enemies that aren't your typical frontline soldiers, you'll have to attack them when a small hexagonal meter appears over their head, and this usually happens right after you've done a strong attack or after you've stunned or knocked them down with a specific item or skill. Ideally, this is the most opportune time to attack and kill the bastard. The game mechanics and combat of Hyrule Warrior gets a score of 9.5 out of 10. I personally enjoy hack and slash games, but Hyrule Warriors adds an element that makes it different and more entertaining. In terms of the game's graphics, all I can say is that the game's graphics fits perfectly with the style of gameplay. The cartoony theme and less menacing enemies accompany the style of the game. The characters look as badass as they ever did. The throwback graphic style for the maps in adventure mode really impressed me and brought back memories of the old NES style graphics. The amount of detail for a character's moves and attacks is really impressive. For example, when Volga turns into his dragon and attacks enemies, not only are the character's appearance superb, but so are the effects surrounding him and the attack itself. But there isn't really anything graphically amazing about the game. At most, it's just slightly above average. But one element of the graphics that is pretty badass is the fact that there are hundreds of simultaneous enemies on the screen at the same time, and the game rarely, if ever, stuttered or impacted the graphics. I would rate the graphics of Hyrule Warrior a 7.5 out of 10. It's a great looking game. It has great looking attacks and bosses while also having a revamped look to the main character Link. The colors are amazing and there's hardly any lag when there are thousands of enemies on the screen, but there really isn't anything amazing and overwhelming and extraordinary that comes in terms of the graphics. It's just slightly above average. The story of Hyrule Warriors is your basic story where Link starts off being a trainee and he works towards becoming a Hylian soldier. Then we move on to the basic Legend of Zelda story, which pretty much he has to save Hyrule and stopping Ganondorf's plan. You do all of that while you're teaming up with other warriors and killing thousands and thousands of soldiers in the process. The audio and soundtrack of the game, on the other hand, are amazing. I didn't expect any less from the game. It features many of the classic songs in the Zelda franchise. Many of the characters do not speak, if they hardly ever do, and that's one of the major flaws I see with the game's audio. I would have liked to actually see the character speaking when there are subtitles there instead of just random grunts and noises. Overall though, I would give the story and the audio of the game an 8 out of 10. The story of the game is nothing special, however I actually don't mind the typical Legend of Zelda theme and plotline, so I don't really see anything wrong with it. The only flaw I see is I would have liked to see the characters speak more, especially when there are subtitles on the screen. Overall though, the game receives a score of 8.5 out of 10 for me. It's super fun, it's super entertaining, the graphics for the game are pretty good, and they complement the style and the genre of the Hyrule Warriors game. The combat and the game mechanics are flawless and practically perfect, and the gameplay is a lot of fun in both the campaign and the adventure mode. Thanks for watching our review of Hyrule Warriors. Let us know what you think about the game in the comment section below, and whether or not you disagree with our review. Also, let us know what game you'd like to see us review next. Be sure to like and share this video along with subscribing to our channel to catch all our future uploads. And lastly, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter so you can help decide our next video. See you next time!